Hello and welcome to the Punters show. Matt Taylor, Glenn Pollard, Mark Lambourne. Hello.
G'day.
G'day. I think we have much to talk about.
Yeah, let's do the Hawkesbury review.
I'll just talk about this apple here.
Small apple.
That's an organic apple.
Wow. What does that mean?
That means that whatever we do to get the other apples,
Peptides.
oh, that's an organic apple.
So that's what an apple should be like.
Well, that's what an apple is naturally like.
Wow.
A bit of fertiliser and whatever pesticide and whatever else we do is.
I should tell girls I have an organic penis. But it's natural.
Which girls?
No, it's none.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's really interesting, right?
It's tiny.
There it is.
Okay.
All right, perfect. All right, lovely. All right, we had Hawkesbury called off, as we said. Man of the match, though. We'll give that away straight away to Pro Bet Alive, Matt, which is absolutely nailed it throughout the afternoon.
Who accepts the trophy? Like you call out the awards,
yeah.
and who steps up to get the trophy?
Give it to Matt. I'll take it. Sort of Matt's
Right.
Yeah. All right. Up goes Matt. Yeah, Matt will stand on stage and give credit to everybody.
Yeah, thank the team.
So where did you do Pro Bet Alive from? Hawkesbury?
How we handled it, I left straight away.
You handled it.
I went back to the studio.
I went to the Harbour Beach Hotel and did from there, where I'm laying the steak sandwich, all Dijonnaise. You know, when it gets
too
all
much.
Yeah, too much. No good. So I got there by about halfway through the card, and Matt stayed at Hawkesbury. So and then Darren was obviously staying
always in his lounge room or wherever he is set up.
In his leather undies.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah, so it all worked well. But I think all of us can get a big man in the match too, because we've nailed the card.
Yeah, well,
You carded it.
Brett Neville rode the card.
No, I have to disqualify myself.
Oh, you didn't?
Feeding him. When are people going to start lining up to have a shot at me for getting things wrong? Like, no doubt about Hawkesbury. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. The meeting's not in danger. Even when Aaron comes up to me, when the jockeys are out there, like deciding the favour, I'm going to go, no, there's no worries.
No worries.
This is not at risk. This program.
Well, that's an interesting point, but
We have a reputation for being too optimistic in regards to the track condition and stuff that's out there.
can I just say you a question? It's a democratic world, and it's not really, I suppose. Anyway, they asked Jason Collette, who's a good New Zealand rider, does he want to come and do a track speech? He said, no, I know it's fucking wet.
Yeah, and he said, what are you worried about? I'll get better through that.
Yeah. And there's a few. So when they do the track inspection with the stewards, the jockeys that go inspect the track are the ones who don't want to ride.
So the fix is
Jason Collett didn't
So
go.
the blokes who don't mind riding, they're in the jockey's room under a mohair rug having a bunger. It's the most ridiculous situation I've ever heard of.
But I've heard of something much more ridiculous.
Yeah.
You just said to me, jockeys get paid for not riding.
I'm pretty sure they get their riding fees. I'll look into it, but I'm like 90% sure they get paid for their rides. Because they get paid because they could have ridden somewhere else in the day.
We'll put it on the Twitter sphere now and get an answer.
Okay, this is the most ridiculous of all ridiculous situations. What are we losing most in this game? Participants. Punters.
Oh, yeah.
Participants as we view it.
Participants as in strappers.
Turnover's going down. Jockeys don't understand that turnover keeps going down. If turnover keeps going down and we lose people going the races, they're not going to be able to ride.
They've got nothing. Look, what do you mean they don't understand? I saw them leaving Hawkesbury on Saturday in their $1 million cars. What's not to understand? Game's fantastic.
Yeah, that's what they think. But it's not going to stay that way. No, you can't call races off on heavy 9s or heavy 10s and inspect tracks. What you have to do is we have to change licensing arrangements with jockeys so that when the track becomes a heavy 8, 9 or 10, if you do not like to fulfill your it's like the plumber who comes down to a place and the rain comes down and goes, tools down, we're going to the pub. But there's other blokes who've got businesses that go, well, I'll work indoors and I'll keep trucking
I tell you what, when I had to dig holes after hitting a hurdle, I tell you what, I kept working in the rain because I needed the fucking money.
Well, why can't we change the licensing conditions where Mr. Seareath comes in and makes this big statement that the horse broke down because it put its foot in a hole or whatever? He's not a vet. Lots of horses break down.
Are we going to call up track work every morning that a horse breaks down?
We need to change the licence.
Which is, he could be right.
Heavy 8, 9 or 10. If you'd like to go home, there's the shower. No problems, go home. And then when we get wet tracks, a heavy 8, 9, 10, and you might only have one ride, you might have no rides, but you'll head to Hawkesbury, knowing you might pick up 6.
Ben Vassallo makes a comeback.
Paddy Murphy.
I've got a much better idea.
Well, tell me better than that.
Huh? make it an auction for rides. So, you know, jockeys might demand more to pay.
They will never do that because it's just too much red tape.
But wouldn't it be fantastic to know how much a jockey has offered for a ride, let alone been offered
Like
for
a
a
Calcutta.
ride?
Okay. Yeah, that'd be pretty
That would be
cool.
interesting. But let's try and... We can't have people going to the races and then calling them off. We're going to lose all those people. If you went to Hawkesbury on the weekend, would you go to the races again?
No.
How would you go?
No, and what about the fact that there's barely an apology? It's like,
Yeah.
fuck off, will you? Like,
Yeah, we're here. Now, Matt, just taking you back to that being... Just back to what Matt said about us being optimistic. And I think, you know, with obviously more experience to my left, and happy birthday for this week too, Mark.
Right,
50.
50.
And me with a little bit more than you. I think it's because we've seen it over the years that track 20 years ago, you wouldn't even... I've got there and everyone's saying, oh, is this meeting going to be on? I'm thinking, you know, I'm being brought up with it. Of course it's going to be on. You know, I mean, we've seen 100 times worse tracks than that been raced on.
Well, I don't know. I didn't get out around the back with our
The back did look pretty bad though when they got on.
What, the close-ups on the sky channel?
Oh, I'm not. Did they have the close-ups as well?
Oh, yeah, they were showing the holes.
Well, they, you know, you saw them come out of the gates and you saw them all looking around and whatever.
But
And they didn't.
Well, stewards have to call meetings off more to save the game, or if it is super wet, put the meeting on and give jockeys green lights to not fulfil their obligations. If Mr. Reith comes in and does it, he was the most animated and upset because the horse broke down and blah blah blah. I mean, who gives a fuck horse broke down? It's a horse. So just what,
I don't think you can say that.
I know you can't, but I do. Fuck it. And also, I had. Yeah, anyway. If Christian Reith wants to go home,
Yeah, let him go home.
let him go home.
Yeah.
And it seems the same blokes every meeting. They have their little posse of mates. And they go out and inspect the track and blow up, and all the blokes who want to ride, they're in the jockey's room.
So is it the point you just said there? Is it these days the majority of courses that we race on, excluding Canterbury, obviously, it just doesn't handle rain like they used to?
I don't know. Well,
What can you say?
Randwick is the case in point that doesn't, because Randwick was the perfect sand-based track which they built up and whatever. But I can't accept that the tracks are any better or worse than they were. Were the capabilities than when we were growing up? Probably even worse.
We're looking at them through different eyes.
Yeah, I think it's society as everything's become softer, everything's become so OH&S regulated that, you know, and those jockeys are the era of being used to. Oh, it's a little bit wet, so let's just go home and snuggle up.
The track, snuggle up.
Yeah, because we've got a right to do that or whatever. We've been empowered to
I don't know. Just we keep calling meetings off like that. We're going to lose people punting, and we're going to lose people in the sport. We should be trying to grow people in the sport. We need people to come back to the sport and get involved in it. Like, you know, if we all lose punters, I don't know what everyone thinks we're going to race for them.
Anyway, well, moving along. Matt,
Have you tried, just one last point, Dale, have you tried actually accessing the racing information in the newspaper, which is, I realise, old school, but you're going to go a long way back.
Exactly.
Just keep
I was
going
actually
and
thinking.
going and
I was
going.
thinking that, I haven't bought a paper all that much. We'll get to racing eventually. The lawn bowls, the sailing, ladies' netball, the women's
How
footy.
marginalised are we?
Yeah.
So we're dead set pariahs.
Well, Mark, we are, as you've mentioned, we are in a situation where, for what doesn't seem a huge amount of money, that Racing New South Wales can have editorial control of a major newspaper. You know, that couldn't have happened a long time ago.
There it is. Anyway, racing, it's a beauty.
All right, perfect. Matt, you sent out on social media, track's better or worse. That was your point?
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
We've got a few of those emails that have come back throughout. Anything else that we've pushed out? Because obviously there's nothing to review at Hawkesbury, so we're doing parts 1 and 2 in the first part. So it's a 2-part hunting show.
Well, Kim Ward's horse did a good job in the first race. Race fit, keep going, racing at a pace. Ticks a lot of boxes for Sydney racing, I suppose.
Gun rated perfectly.
Well, there it was. Fit horses.
Impulsive Spirit didn't seem to handle the real
Didn't seem to
heavy.
handle.
Well, also, Jay Collett seemed very determined to try and get himself into a position where he could be widest in the straight, which probably wasn't necessary.
No, that's right, exactly. Well, one thing we possibly got right off one sample was saving ground and then getting wide in the straight was the key play. Not that it means shit.
Hard not to feel sorry for Fletch. He's one day of the year on a Saturday night.
I feel gutted for him.
It's awful for a club like it. Awful.
Can I just say too that there's been a bit of a call like Wagga should have a standalone Saturday meeting or something.
Wagga.
Wagga.
Why Wagga?
Wagga, I went down to Wagga on the 2 days.
Well, we're not going to find the extra $5 million prize money for it.
But not only that, it doesn't work on a Saturday, does it?
No.
Like you say,
Wagga,
like Scone doesn't work on a
Scone
Saturday.
doesn't work on a Saturday.
No, that's right, exactly. Like, and Wagga's how far away from Sydney is that? No, please. It's just silly,
6
isn't
hours,
it? Yeah. Anyway, all right. Let's get into.
The best thing about Wagga's the Calcutta. It's the best Calcutta in Australia.
Still strong, is it?
Oh, it's a fucking. I'll tell you how strong it is. How's this for strong? The Calcutta. You could have bought. They sell so many tickets, like 28,000 tickets for $1.
So you start with a pool of 28 before anyone's even.
Okay.
So the pool should get to 60 years.
Very good. Guessing you've got.
Well, you normally double the pool. That's
Very intelligent. There's 39,000 prize money if you had the first horse.
Yeah.
10,000 for second and 6,000 for third. Within $50. You know.
Yeah.
That's 55,000. It cost you about 38,000 to buy every horse.
Yeah.
So you could have bought every horse for 38,000 and picked up 55.
Yeah.
I happened to pay 1,500 for 1,000 and got back 10. Up you go, Abdullah.
Is that right? Yeah.
I went half the bloke.
Yeah.
And I couldn't pick a winner either day. And well, a lot of favourites won. Finished square the 2 days because the first one and second.
Yeah.
It's a great Calcutta.
Awesome. Yeah, it's exactly.
Funny favourite.
I used to, but didn't that use
The
Gypsy Diamond.
Well, last time we were in Sydney.
not a 2,000 metre?
Like,
I think. No. I think it got that win because.
Yada.
Remember that race at Randwick? It was the race they all chopped and changed. They all had a go at each other.
Funny.
And it was just the one back there getting the whole.
Funny favourite.
Yeah. I think it's just better at a mile, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's better at 15 to 1 that type of horse.
Yeah. It's a good sign of a carnival, though, isn't it? Like Grafton used to be big with it. All of them used to have that big Calcutta. The health of the Calcutta, bang, it's still alive. I mean, I'm not bagging Wagga. I mean, I think the country carnivals are great, but it just shouldn't. I think it's a standalone Saturday candidate.
Every time there's a standalone meeting anywhere, it's like time to talk about other standalones.
Yeah.
That's
Perfect. All right, lovely. Well, let's get into
Why don't we
part
have 52 standalones and fucking across Sydney racing? Broken Hill's got a standalone.
St Patrick's meeting at Broken Hill.
Glarkenbane this Saturday, standalone.
Yeah,
Ever been to Glarkenbane? No. That's all right.
Lovely. Let's go. Campaigned. Part 2 of the Punters show. During the week, Matt.
Was that the end of part 1?
That's into part 1.
America's a lifeline. We can talk about that.
Yeah.
Delicacy.
Yeah.
Big Green good. I watched it.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
It's a nice horse.
Yeah.
There was
Pretty
dopey
well
Richard
fillies.
Freeman going, be careful, don't over race it. Fucking hell, when they go like that, just keep racing.
Lovely. Mate, during the week, Matt, we got a tweet from D. Wardy, and if you haven't seen it, have a look at it. It is it's just great vision of how they promote. There was the promo clip, and I imagine it would have been the ad for the Kentucky Derby.
It was.
And it was so emotive, it was so racing based, it was about racing. You saw it, Mark?
No, I haven't seen it.
I haven't.
I read all the.
It made you want to be involved in racing. It wasn't the bloke spraying champagne who would have been kicked out, all that sort of shit. The best summation of it came from Mick the Rabbit, who summed it up. Great history, great horses, great advert, great point. Run for the roses as opposed to fun for the posers. That's pretty good, isn't it? And it was just such a classy ad. So we thought we'd throw out some of the thoughts of some of the campaigns, and if you can get onto our Twitter page and go down through it, Ralphie Horowitz has come up with this. I don't know where it's come out of mothballs for the 1986 Melbourne Cup or whatever, and how they got one person through the gates on the back of that ad, you never know. But I
didn't need to.
No, but I think that almost says that. And it's actually, I think, indicative of where we've got to today, that racing carried racing at that stage. So the fact that it was the Melbourne Cup, you really didn't need to do anything, and you could come up with an ad like that. And I think that's probably carried over into that dull point between then and somewhere then and here, where you didn't really have to do much to get people to racing, but now we're in an era.
Well, we were mainstream,
It was mainstream, exactly.
In fact, all the mainstream things didn't really lift a finger, did they? Rugby league. What was it called then? NSWRL or whatever it was called.
New South Wales Rugby League, yeah.
They did. It's like, whatever. We didn't even have a Super 12, so we had this garden competition in rugby.
Wicks versus.
Yeah.
They didn't have pubs anymore.
They go around. They've been.
ABC.
ABC. Does Pappy still call it? Great man,
I
Pappy.
think Pappy's still out there.
Yeah. Hey,
Who's Pappy again?
Brett Papworth.
Yeah.
Hey,
Have you met him?
Yeah, we used to work in Talking Sport. Yeah, Pappy. I reckon Pappy's almost one of the unluckiest. Like you talk about wrong era. No,
I'm the
unluckiest. But you talk about wrong era. Like he was. He did then get the big contracts with rugby league, didn't he? But if you had it talking about Super 12 or Super 10 as it came in then, he would have been the absolute highest paid sports star in Australia. And it just came that like 2 or 3 years after he was at his best. Like you'd just be sitting there going, really? Yeah. anyway, but all right. So one of the so we threw up a few of the things, and one of the other ones I thought of. You remember the "Everyone who's anyone is here"?
Yeah, I remember that.
The elitist AJC ad. That was from Bedford brought to life. You're invited, no RSVP.
Wow.
Anyone is here.
Tell us, you're singing in a park at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
There it is.
And then the one that we just showed you before the show, Glenn, which you've got to have a look at.
The Greyhound one.
The Greyhound one is just awful, isn't it?
Or just like...
Is that the one where they buy a greyhound as a pet?
No, they don't buy it. He breeds. He wakes up with no eyes.
There when his eyes first opened.
Yeah. And that's a great family
Can we put a
pet.
link up for that on the show?
I think we can. Yeah, put the link up for those two. Yeah, perfect, beautiful. All right, you've got to have a look at that. And any other campaigns you can think about in our great history of racing campaigns, send them in.
Has there been any?
Oh, it has to be.
Get Racy is the latest.
Get Racy was the latest. Yeah, that was good.
Championships.
The one with Kathy O'Hara in it was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was exciting.
Yeah, it was great. It was the new breed that took.
The new breed.
Yeah, one I always mention was the remember the themed days for the 3 days of the Rose Hill. It was, I think.
Do you remember Craig Carmody as an apprentice?
In the telecom ads.
Phone home
to mum. Hi mum, I did pretty good today.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a young Craig.
And
he was
outside the jockey's room, was he? Or?
Yeah, no. Well, it wasn't mobile phones. It was.
It's
home phones.
That was even before the days
like
of the gold phone,
hi,
wasn't it?
You watched me today? Yeah, I did pretty good, mum. Like, a little Craig Carmody.
Yeah.
And it was like a phone home.
Yeah.
I wouldn't ever want to phone home, I think. They were pushing for you to...
Yeah.
Was it a Mother's Day at maybe?
No, I think it was a general lady because it was on for long. Yeah.
Late 80s?
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
And then the other racing ad, the one that comes to mind was, how do you feel? Big ride today, 4TJ, the money's on. That was good. But again, it comes back to what Mark has said before about the corporate bookmakers are the promoters of real racing in Australia. That ad was probably the best racing ad we've seen, and it was done by Tui's.
Yeah.
You know, like that, you know.
Do you remember that ad? No.
No way. God,
No,
that's
it's
85.
great because it has all
85,
footage in the ring. There's Terry
Yeah.
Page sucking on a Tui's and laying these big bets, and there's a young Malcolm Johnson. Big ride today, 4TJ, and the money's on. They're legging him up.
Yeah.
The horse gets the run.
How do you feel? Way back in the field, with only a straight to run. How do you feel? Running hands and heels when you're the first one home.
Say the money's on and stuff like that.
Oh no, you wouldn't be able to say
It
that.
must be on YouTube somewhere.
How do you feel?
That's
It'd
good,
have to be, wouldn't it?
Fine,
Yeah.
how do
And
you
it was
feel?
with a series of it. That was with Here They Go Again. It's Manly and Para. Para's coming back, but the gap starts to narrow. Yeah.
You remember them all?
Yeah. And then there was
Well, you were in radio, I suppose.
No, well, I was 10.
He was about to be in radio.
And it was, what about the Mike Whitney one? Mike Whitney versus Joel Garner.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was also How Do You Feel, wasn't it? Yeah. Anyway, good
How
ad.
do you feel?
How do you feel? Dave didn't feel too well on Saturday. Hey fellas, hope this finds you in a better mood than me. Race is off. That begs the question: do all jockeys suffer from a god complex? A horse breaking down is terrible, but it's part and parcel of the industry. When any decision is made by a mob, it is never based on logic. Tests have been proven that the IQ of a mob is even less than the IQ of the member of the mob with the lowest IQ.
Yeah, true.
Wow, it's great. Yeah, do you want to add to that?
No, I just know that there's been studies of mob behaviour, and it's quite interesting when you analyse the mob versus what people.
When you be in a mob, you
decide.
become a complete fucking idiot.
Yeah. So
if I get in a mob or a protest, because I joined some protests,
you love a
I do
protest.
feel like a bit of a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
So I can understand how that is. I go, I'm with you. And I'm just like being in the protest. If I see any protest, I'll join it.
Yeah, and then next week
No,
you'd
Team Queen
be probably next week going, fuck the worker. You just want to be part of the protest.
Because I want to be in that mob mentality. I want my IQ to really drop because when
Yeah.
it does,
Brendan Cowell suffered from that last week with the barley bonnets. Did you see that?
No, what happened?
All the celebrities got together.
Oh, yeah,
and
yes,
said,
yes.
Come on, Tony, let's save.
Yeah.
And he's like, show some balls and
Bring our boys
back.
back. Yeah.
And then 2 hours later, he's gone, I deeply apologise.
Yeah,
for this.
it sort of didn't really work,
He
did it?
blocked
Yeah.
He shut his Twitter account. Everyone got into him saying he was a dickhead for those comments.
Anyway,
So,
continue.
who was the team?
Oh, the
All these sort of like the Aussie actors,
yeah.
you know, all their shows on the Logies, all those sort of guys, they were all they did it really simple, just off their iPhone, I think, sending videos through with a little
can't
hashtag.
tone. Yeah,
And,
can't tone. Go and get the boys.
Go get our boys back
Yeah.
home, show some balls.
Yeah,
And he got smashed for that.
yeah. Anyway,
But no one else did.
His comment about show some balls or whatever
Yeah.
was,
Yeah. sort of.
too far.
No.
apparently.
Anyway, all right, okay. We went from the mob mentality, even less than the IQ of the lowest member. And jockeys are not famous for their high IQs. A mob of jockeys would not have an IQ in double digit. It's a dangerous sport, but on wet tracks they give each other plenty of room. Horses are not likely to clip heels, etc. I would reckon the heavier the track, the safer it is. New Zealanders probably would not even rate that track as heavy. Frustrating as
we
certain.
just butt in there. We were talking with a certain B Baker at the time who was just
Livid.
expletives
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, John Sargent. Yeah, same thing.
Heavy.
Yeah. I would reckon the heavier the track, would not even rate it. Frustrating as I was certain I was going to win. Maybe I'm suffering from withdrawal symptoms. Looking at four walls, is it not a lot of fun? Good luck and good punting.
another Waller.
Another waller, yeah. No pun intended.
How do you look at 4 walls?
I can look at
Counting the
3.
ceiling.
Mirrors.
3. 4 of you. Being able to.
I suppose you're looking at your pacing and you're looking. I don't know.
He might be a rotating wall.
Nothing wrong with it. Totally understandable and acceptable behaviour.
Well,
You
you
see-
saw with Jeff Lloyd a few weeks ago.
Who's riding well?
Yeah.
He was
And
bounced.
apart from the fact we had him $1.04
Well,
to
on
be dead.
the sting out of the track that day.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, it saved his life. Tell you what, it didn't help the betting. Anthony said, "G'day to all. 2 questions for everyone that I'll try to keep brief. Firstly, do any of you have months that are historically just awful?
Yeah, mate.
Looking back on my records, I've realised I'm absolutely hopeless in Jan, Feb, and unbelievable April and September. Just wondering if I'm the only one going through
No,
these
no,
consistent hot, cold months.
I'm December, Jan, just awful.
Yeah.
And always, because I always think you should be getting away for Christmas every
Yeah, all
year.
those ski
Yeah.
fields. Remember, the DeLucas always disappeared.
Or
that time.
they always disappear
Yeah.
in January.
Yeah.
The whole of January off. I said, you always have the whole of January off. He said, yeah, I never went in January, and I think he passed the curse on. January's a bit
Well,
awful.
the fact is, you get like wall-to-wall racing and skinny fields on dry tracks.
It tells a lot.
Yeah, so
and I suppose also too, as Glenn said, you feel like you should be somewhere else. You're probably
on the Central
not.
Coast for their standalone Saturday.
Yeah, for their standalone Saturday, exactly. You're probably not, by that stage you're pretty stale, and when you're stale and doing the form and all that sort of stuff,
And
you're
you
not
get
doing it as
the
well.
holiday meetings in between, which are sort of
Yeah.
not Wednesdays and not Saturdays.
Yeah, you're not fresh.
No, exactly. So, to answer the question for Anthony, yes it is.
Definitely.
Advice there though, boys. Bet down in those months.
Get your turnover down.
Yeah.
Try and keep your eye, try and get away.
Yeah.
best.
Have a, I
Sometimes
reckon,
just take that month
Sometimes
off.
Take
you
a
do
month
serious
off.
punt up.
Yeah.
Well, it's very
You
hard to
can't.
tell. How do you tell how do you have any time off?
no,
Try yourself at a plane go overseas, then you
Yeah.
have to have time off.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then you
That's
catch
what
the
we're
first
talking
plane
about.
back to Warwick
Yeah.
Farm.
No, we're not
If
saying
Anthony's
sit
a
around
pretty
at home
decent-
doing nothing.
If his turnover, say, 10,000 a meeting or 5,000 a meeting, we're having big bets. I don't know his business, but sometimes get away for a week or so and just spend a few thousand on yourself and your partner or your family. Just go away.
I think
It
there is.
might be cheaper.
I mean,
Because also you'll have a great freshen up. You'll come back and you'll probably win the holiday straight back that week.
yeah. No, I mean, we all get worried about, we go away, so you're going to lose track. But I think you just got to.
Well, it's a fact of life, isn't it?
You just got to accept it. Otherwise, I think.
Otherwise, you never go away.
I think the risk versus reward, and if you can time your going away towards the end of a cycle, I reckon that works for me. It's like you sort of have the last, say, 2 or 3 weeks off of winter. So then when you come back into it, you've got the new horses coming
It's a
through.
good idea.
I'll
Good
give you a
idea.
perfect example of never going away. I'm 53 this year. I left school in 1980 and went straight to the track, basically to punt, or just to do a few little odd jobs, but punt. And I've had lots of money, and lots of times I've had no money, and lots of money and no money, and I still have not seen snow. It's a bit disgusting, isn't it? I haven't made it down the
I would've
snow
thought
for
you'd be-
4 fucking days. Like, never
I
one.
seen snow here last week.
You know,
Hailstorm.
I never saw
Saturday
it. I wasn't
random.
here.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So not skiing.
I would have
on
thought,
it.
and I would have thought you'd be a keen skier
You think
too.
I'd be keen to go?
Yeah,
I used to
you
be on
would've,
the surf,
yeah.
I think I'd be a
Yeah,
skier.
yeah,
I like
absolutely.
the idea of it.
Yeah.
I haven't been yet. I'm getting down there with my, what are you, walking frame.
Yeah.
Thank you. With the skis in the
Whereas
front.
Horry's been every year.
That's
Through
what
that
I'm saying.
period.
I've never been once.
Every
You might go with
single
Horry
year.
to Aspen.
I've never been once. But it's a bit disgusting, isn't it? I never took the kids in.
Well, they can do it themselves.
Well, they can now, but
Well, we have Miss Snow Bunny.
one Miss Snow Bunny.
Yeah, she's been to the snow.
She's been at the start.
Actually, I noticed that Miss Freshwater's on ads for that in the next coming weeks at the Harbor Beach
Is
Hotel.
it?
Yeah,
My daughter's a pro winner.
yeah, exactly right, exactly right. Beautiful.
Marvellous.
Anthony went on to say, secondly, more so for Glenn, I feel like Betfair is taking over my life in the sense that a slight case of Betfairitis on a Saturday arvo has me running for the hills, not the Monday 3 AM military jumps race action though. Example from Caulfield on the weekend, Red Bomber race 8 I thought was a great 5-unit play at about 360 to 380 on the Friday price. Come Saturday and there is as much as $5 plus as you want for on the fair. Needless to say, when I saw that, 5 units became 2.5 units and it still lobs even at a $5.60 Betfair SP.
$6 a bit, $3.65.
$6, yeah, I saw that actually. Yeah, that's right. Obviously, there's been time seeing a Betfair drift and staying out. Reducing bet has helped, but it absolutely burns missing out on a good portion on the collects thanks to a Betfair spook. Is the best way to back myself in regardless of the fair, or is there a way to try and work out which Betfair drifts equal horse can't win, like Catkins with red gloves in the Canterbury Stakes, between horse probably doesn't win?
Well, it's about Waller, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
It's about the
Waller
stable.
fair. It's
Yeah.
about the stable, but look, I know what you mean. It is. It's terrifying. It's fucking terrifying.
I think
I know what the cure is.
we park next to Fitzy, one of the boys at the track who works, one of the pros, and his opinion is forget it. Like
I don't think you can when it comes to Waller though.
of course, but there has also been, to be fair, Waller drifts that do
Yeah,
win.
well, counter attack was one. We won at one on Wednesday.
It's like,
Yeah.
So his advice is to forget it.
yeah,
And I don't think that's bad advice.
And he would have, his team on the fair laying things as well.
I don't think that's bad advice.
Yeah.
So, but therefore, but what you're saying, Matt, is not what we're talking about. You're saying if you forget about it, then you don't have Betfairitis.
Exactly.
It's like saying,
But if you've got Betfair, you've
And
got
for
to
that, before that bloke who's rated that horse 380 or whatever he thought was a good price, if you're getting $5 or $5.50 or $6, he should still be having his units on his rating, and he's getting that extra. He's getting $6 instead of the.
so you're saying the only advice is to forget it. It's good advice.
I think so.
I suppose it just comes down to adding
I
up.
think it's good advice.
When racing was huge, there wasn't Betfair, but horses drifted. It hasn't changed. Like,
I think actually, from Anthony's point of view, add up how it works, back them, see if you're in front by taking the overs. I suppose over time, it's the only way to work it out, isn't it?
Great to get a study.
Study you
someone
exactly
who
right.
has been
Because then
doing
there's the
stuff.
other ones then, Matt, that have Betfairitis that don't pass the horse and you just go, wow, I saw that.
Certainly, yeah.
Yeah, what a
It certainly
surprise.
Because it's easy to blame backing a loser on a third party.
Yeah,
I had that horse rated winning. It hasn't won, but look what Betfair
Yeah, that's
knew.
right.
Well, let's look at the Saboog situation that we had in Sydney
Yeah.
a few weeks. I'm saying if you took Saboog at the top of the drift, what was it, $6?
$6, so
$7.80
You
is it?
keep taking those horses
Because
at
that
that
raising a bit- a
price,
bit of later, it's
eventually,
$7.
I think they're going to win more than 1 in 6 times.
You're saying it's a winning bet.
I think so. When the world's rated at
Well, I've got-
$3.50.
I've just
Yeah, when it's
I've
been
got a
5 to
great story
2.74.
about Leo Lewin, who's a bookie and a bit of a champ in the ring, giving me a bit of a cult following Leo.
Well,
The other day,
I'm
I
not
laid.
gonna- I'm not going to say that.
yeah, I don't mind.
You're going to love this.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
going to love
no.
this.
He gave
I
me
laid a
the
horse the
table.
other day at Warren. It was like 7 to 2 to 350, and I was over the gap with it, like completely over the gap with it. And I always talk to Jeff Henry about what happens in the run sometimes because he's interested in being a bookie. And you're going to love this. The starter went, Wally shitbags, whatever I've laid, has missed the start 2 lengths and then. So I heard him start by 2 lengths and I was over the gap with it. And of course you can't put in a big feed. So I thought I saw $8 pop up in the run. It was like 7 to 2, and I thought, yeah, I'll just have 100 back in the head toss. Bang, had the 100 back, and bang, it got marked, it got accepted, and I got $19. So I stand this thing for 3 or something up in the bush, and the next thing I'm standing for 1,000, and I'm watching it. I'm just so happy I've got 100. I'm so happy to pay that person. I get 100 at $19, and I came back anyway. It made a bit of a run top Australia, didn't get there, and got beaten a couple of leagues. Beauty, wanted to get beat. I came back and I was telling Jeff Pendlebury, and Leo just eavesdrops. And I'm going, imagine getting $100 at $19. You know, it's got to be just a winning. I said a winning bet, meaning it's such a winning position to get the 19. I was so happy with the business, a winning bet. And Leo, he goes, hang on a minute, it lost though. And I go, yeah, I know, but it's still a winning bet. He goes, no, it's not, it lost. And I said, Leo, thank you. Because a winning bet is not always the bet that you collect on. A winning bet is a winning bet
over the course of the year.
Over your life.
Yeah, you'd like to be having that bet every race.
You'd love to lay things at 7 to 2 to 9 4 and be able to get $19 back in the run every day. It's a winning bet.
It's a winning bet.
Well, I think when we see horses parade and they parade well and they're drifting, we say a lot of times on pro better, we can't see any, the form is right, the horse has paraded well, we've got no reason to oppose this. Whereas the Saboog situation, murmurs came to us before the race that the horse was carrying a hip injury just before the race, and so there was a factor for us to work out why it drifted. But for others, we have no idea why they drifted.
That's right. We might not know that there's a hip injury with the others.
So is it true that they only got
$300 fine? That was
for something that was all over the papers for 2 months with More Joyous.
Yeah. Well, they're going to argue. The argument against that is that, okay, the horse had the injury, it's trialled since, blah blah blah, so it's not as relevant as that. But you know, like, yeah, I mean, for the big song and dance, it was made about More Joyous versus this, and for the fact, you know, it doesn't seem to add up, does it?
You'd have to be having a bit of a giggle in the hog stable writing the cheque for the $300.
Yeah.
Like started half its tax through. I think you put it in the expenses.
Yeah, I don't think you technically can. But
well, I'm sure.
Probably do.
Yeah. All right. Danny has suggested programming Saturday races around Rosehill and Canterbury for the winter.
What? Because
Randwick can't. Everywhere else is gone.
Warwick Farm is gone as
and
well.
Rosehill seems to handle it a little bit better.
We're going to be alright for Warwick on Wednesday, you think,
Yeah.
I feel the reason why Canterbury's not used on Saturday is, from what I understand, from what I understand, is small track straights, like this is what a PVL sort of directed is. He doesn't like small straights on a Saturday. So Canterbury therefore has and the punters don't like that.
I think that certainly
a turnover thing.
Randwick and Rosehill attract much more turnover. It's
that's as simple as that. Exactly.
Saturday punters go, I know what I'm getting here. Put it anywhere else, and they go, oh well. You know.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly right. So if you use Canterbury, more people might get used to it a bit more.
Plus, the perception is that from a punter in the pub or the tab that a horse last around the bend at Canterbury has less chance of winning as a horse last around the bend at Rosehill. Would that be part of the thinking of it?
Yeah, probably, but yeah. But I think a Canterbury meeting with lesser turnover is better than a Randwick meeting with no turnover.
What about this?
Yes, good point.
Well, that's a very good point. It's like,
and if we've seen what Randwick's like now, what's Randwick going to be like in a month or two? You know, like
we're going to be off all winter.
But then again, there's no New South Wales tourism bonus
what
dollars
about how
for
we
the
spent $180 million on this dam when we $15 million could have got us an all-wet-weather track somewhere.
That's good. Good stand too.
But then even if we built an all-wet-weather track, I see it about that night, which would be great. But then you probably find the first 3 meetings, every leader doesn't get run down. Everyone goes, well, this is no good about it.
No good. Also, you know, like they built that Acton track, it's gone.
What happened to the Acton track?
It had reached the end of its useful life.
Yeah, I think I'd rather just cope with meetings being called off than have to, because the problem is with a wet weather track, they use them. That's the problem.
What do you mean by that? They go to the Acton?
No, they use them. Like they program meetings on them. They're not good to bet on. They do your head in. It's different. It's no. I think we could have a better solution.
I mean, I can just imagine every leader winning. The first person blowing up would be me.
Yeah, exactly right.
Because I'm a swooper man. You know,
Anyway, Danny said climate change is real. More tracks will be affected. Therefore, more all-weather tracks required. But At the present time, especially for Saturday racing, betting starting on Wednesday, there has to be options in place to transfer meetings in advance of Saturday morning and not wait until the last minute to postpone or have a meeting called off after race 1. Punters want a Saturday meeting. Nowhere or a Saturday meeting held somewhere. I'm pretty sure I know the answer to my question.
Still, there are very few Saturday meetings called off.
Yeah, I mean, we have had a lot of
I mean, that Easter Saturday was a joke.
Yes,
that
we know
was a
why.
bodgy.
Yeah, we know.
Saturday was, as it turned out, they couldn't have gone on.
That rain that came through, Matt stayed around.
Well, I'm not saying they shouldn't have called
No,
Saturday.
but I mean,
I'm saying that we need to. The blokes inspecting the track should be the blokes who want to call a meeting. I mean, Christian Reeve. I mean, I saw him on the plane with Tommy. Him and Tommy like the best of mates. Like Tommy and him are really close. So you think they're like really close. Like really good mates, which is nice. It's nice for Tommy to find a good mate, especially after his brother passing. But you think anything Christian says, Tommy's going to just fucking agree? No,
No, I don't.
It just seems to be the same riders all the time.
Well, that's the problem. It's the same riders all the time riding around every week.
Give us a stack of blokes don't mind riding at the meeting. They can't. And if they say anything, it's like...
They say your mate Bucko's big on it in out wide.
No good?
Loves calling him off. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Bucko.
Punter, Anthony said, "Hey, Punter Show, how good is it that Racing Retro have found Brent Zarafa a chair rather than sending him to an empty mounting yard by himself?"
Is that a bomb?
Yep. We're off here.
Well, it's some black bloke here running through the streets with a backpack and carrying a yellow plastic case.
It's clearly full of explosives.
We could be fucking off here.
And a big beard.
Couldn't, and a beard. Yeah. We're off. Punter Show first, here we go. We've got footage. The
I was
police...
at lunch yesterday. Did you know that Muslim women get the Muslim test before marriage?
Did it?
Did you know about this?
I didn't know about this clue.
Apparently,
What happens if they'd rode horses and that has already been broken?
the Muslim test. Fuck, I love religion.
I thought.
Anyway, at the picnics did make the point that it was good that Brent didn't have to go to Hawkesbury.
I thought they should have had him out of Hawkesbury just to talk about race 1.
I reckon it would have been good. Yeah, It would have been good for Brent because Brent normally when he does Hawkesbury, I think he normally stays out there because he grew up out there.
Well, he should be thankful. Richard Haynes had to go to Adelaide.
Did he? Oh, okay. There he is. But yeah, they should have sent him out there. Surfing Punter said Hawkesbury should do a standalone meeting on a Thursday.
That was funny.
Ralphie, he wants to ask Glenn, new garnishing idea for sushi and risotto dishes on this week's show. Ask Glenn.
What is that about?
I don't know.
Sushi and risotto dishes?
Yeah, garnish. Well, Glenn doesn't do sushi.
No, I don't.
I don't even know why I'm saying this. Glenn, why don't you do sushi?
It's fairly innocuous, sushi.
No.
Who makes it?
Well,
Matt?
like, everybody makes it these days. Huh?
You know what I mean. You know what it's like.
They are the cleanest bastards you'll find.
Please.
Don't mark. Walk away. We've got things to do today. We don't need to. Okay, any idea for garnishing sushi or risotto? No.
No, but I don't even know what that's about.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Thanks anyway.
General, a lot more talk about the Stallions being retired. Shooting to win was the one. It's
all right, okay, I'll toss it up to you. You reckon there's any money in this breeding?
Clearly not.
1%, there's 100 shares in Savabeel, 1% got sold this week. How much for?
In Savabeel.
The Stallion.
Stallion. So
That-
there's 100 people. 100 people own shares in
unworthy
Savabeel.
Cox Plate.
You might own 7 shares in, but it's 100 lots. One lot got sold this week. Question is how much?
No idea.
600,000.
But he wouldn't exactly be a young Stallion either, would he?
Puts a value of 60 million on him at his age.
At his age.
And they're putting 600,000 in to make money.
Wow.
It's a lot.
How old would that horse be?
Well, he raced about 5 years ago, didn't he?
No, longer than that.
Oh.
He won the Cox Plate in
As a 3-year-old?
for Roger.
Yeah, as a 3-year-old, yeah.
Early 2000s.
I was going to say early to mid 2000s.
Okay,
so that means he's
Get on the case there, Matt.
so
Savabeel,
he's
Cox Plate
15.
How did one share sold for 600,000?
Yeah, wow. Okay, he's got to be younger than 15 then, doesn't
Well,
he?
then the person who told me that must be wrong, because that mathematically doesn't make sense.
Doesn't. Anyway,
It's
Ralph,
like a mate of mine said he's going on some doing a marathon run in Burma, in Myanmar, in Burma. And he said, look at this, it's 42 kilometres and you run past 2,000 temples. And I went, well, that can't be right. And he's going, yeah.
You've already done. You've
I've done the maths. I said, that's 50 temples a kilometre. That's a temple every 20 metres. You sure that's right? He went, stop fucking ruining this for me with your stupid maths.
just adding up number plates.
And then I got my brain went,
then.
oh, hang on, but they could be on both sides of the road, can't they?
Yeah.
Still, it's got to be wall-to-wall temples.
And they could be double deckers.
Seems a lot of temples to me.
And Miramar is really modernised too. They've got double decker temples.
Seven bills, 13-year-olds.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. All right.
10 years.
But Ralphie did raise. Is it biologically Is it biologically possible for a high-priced yearling to go straight to stud? Racing can decrease their value.
Yeah, well,
I think we're close to that.
Yeah. Well, I raised the point. What age is puberty for a horse?
good question, Darl.
So if we have a horse out of black caviar, a black caviar from
By Savabeel.
It's colt and a very scopy type, very precocious, and straight to stud. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, why not?
No. Because then
You wouldn't bother racing, would you?
Well, the first year you might only get $10,000, but what happens is that price you also start winning group races everywhere. The horse could just get a $60,000 service fee because the homework of the children.
Makes sense. Nick Ashman raised, and I don't know if this is 100% right, but it's something his grandfather said, like horses like Marscale or Bletchingley and all that sort of stuff, our era stallions. There was a general rule that whatever you made on the track, you'd go and make 50% more as a stallion.
Really?
Have you heard that?
Never heard of it, but
Sort of changed a
little bit, hasn't it?
Changed a little bit, but I mean, it does come down to a serious issue
We
about.
do seem to have a lot of young sires going.
Well, the problem being with it is we've got this false market that we always speak about because of the bullshit that goes on with the studs, the sales, and all of that sort of stuff, and all the little cartels our little breeders have got in overinflating the value of horses. Therefore, if we're going to be, that's where
There must be a lot of mugs.
It's a big problem.
There must be a lot of mugs.
I mean, I suppose at the end of the day, they are creating a marketplace, but it's a false marketplace where people are still willing to buy it. But if you're part of the cartel, why wouldn't you be willing to buy it?
Well, you have to be part of it.
Beautiful. All right, well, that is part one. We've got a few more emails to do, but because I've got a computer that froze and didn't print out the formats, probably I've got to find them. Part one.